moments, I guess.
And we are live, as a matter of fact. And welcome to our Friday Facebook Live segment, Caring Conversations, where we look forward to bringing topics that are relevant to our clients, their families, our caregiver teams, and our healthcare partners. My name is Julie Collada, and I'm the founder and president of Open Arms Solutions. Open Arms is a home care company, and we provide a professional care team of caregivers and care coordinators to help seniors and their families navigate the challenges of aging and illness, and proudly supporting their dignity and independence in their own homes. We have a very special Facebook Live segment today. I've been looking forward to this ever since Sarah had the idea to do this. And this is highlighting the Open Arms caregiver experience. And with me today are four of our finest professionals. Katie Derrick, just wave. Hey, Katie. Nikaya Carter. Hey, Nikaya. I'm so glad you could join us. And Martine. I'm going to mispronounce your last name, Martine. It's Zatz? Zatz. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So why don't we start out, if you would, please. Introduce yourself. Tell us how long you've been with a care professional. What motivated you to get into the profession, and how long you've been with Open Arms. So, Katie, would you start?
Absolutely. My name's Katie Derrick. I've been with Open Arms 9.5 years now, I guess. Wow. And when I first started caregiving, it really was a change for me in profession and a life change. And I guess I was looking for a real challenge, which is what I got in the greatest of ways. Prior to that, I was doing a lot of service industry management and a little bit of retail management. It's challenging as well. But in this way, I could really utilize my people skills in a much different way to really benefit them. So that's why I got into the caregiving industry.
That's wonderful. You've been with us for 9.5 years, Katie. Mm-hmm. Katie and I, so when Katie first started with the company, she was with one of our dear clients that we cared for almost that long. Mm-hmm. And Katie helped navigate keeping that client home. Because without Katie's incredible, compassionate skills, that client would have been in a nursing home. And so I was so proud of the work that Katie did there.
Thank you.
So thank you, Katie. Martine, will you go next?
Sure. My name is Martine Zatz. I've been a caregiver for about 5 years and almost 2 years with Open Arms. And I love taking care of people, always did. I was in a big corporation before. I was an accountant for a meat company here in Chicago. When I was living in France, I was a personal assistant for a big corporation too. I just love being a caregiver, to be honest. For me, being a caregiver, it's been a calling, not a career. I just love taking care of people. I love putting a smile on their face. And I feel like I do make a difference in their life, and that's what's more important for me.
That's lovely, really lovely, Martine. And I understand now, because this is the first time you and I have had a chance to meet. But I've heard so many nice things about you and the care that you provide, and I can see why. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Oh, absolutely. Nikaya, tell us about yourself. how long you've been a care professional, how long you've been with Open Arms, what motivated you to get into this profession?
Okay. Well, I've been in the profession for 11 years, and actually that's the same amount of years I've been with Open Arms.
I
Um,
love that.
what mo
That's great.
yeah. And what motivated me to go into the profession was I before this I used to take care of my grandmother. So I had a few years of experience of taking care of her, and taking care of her made me realize that I loved to just see the look on her face as I took care of her, and that love and compassion that I had for it. So that's what made me go into the profession.
That's wonderful, wonderful, Nakaya. And I can think of over the years that you've been with Open Arms, I can think of some incredible clients. I'm actually now going through my memory of different clients you've cared for over the years, and what you've meant to them. And I can think of one particular client right now that started out her own home, ended up moving to a skilled nursing facility, and Nakaya was our client's best girlfriend. And you remember those, and the client was Jane. I obviously won't use her last name, but Jane and Nakaya
Yes.
were thick as thieves. And
Yes.
clearly, Jane, I think you extended Jane's life for many, many months, if not years, based on that incredible relationship that you developed with her, because she didn't have any more family
We
with
were
her.
together
You did a beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank
Of course.
you. I miss her a lot.
So the next question is really, it's what's motivated you to stay in the profession?
I think for myself, it's just so
Go ahead.
gratifying. You know, in whether it be the challenges and overcoming challenges with our clients and their families, constantly changing. It always expects you to pick up your game a little bit. And I've grown so much as a human being, not just as a caregiver. So beyond professional, personally. And when you can overcome challenges or at least know that you tried your very best, I think that's what keeps me in it, because there's always a new surprise around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard each of you say this now, and I really can relate to this personally. I think you all know that I'm not a nurse, I'm not a social worker. I never intended to be running a home care company or be in healthcare. Martine, you may not know that. But one of the things that I really, when my mom started to decline and she developed dementia, I remember how meaningful it was to make a connection with her, and how meaningful it was. I mean, she was my mom, of course, but when she was kind of disconnecting with the world, when I could engage with her and get that smile on her face and know that there was that connection and she was experiencing some joy, that meant the world to me. Exactly. And then to be able to have the privilege of to start a company now in the 13th year, and have professionals like yourselves that go into the home and do the same thing. I couldn't, it's hard to express my gratitude for that, because and I can hear each of you saying how important that smile is to you, how important that connection is to you, and what it means to you. So that means the world to hear that. So Nakaya, just expound a little bit on how, sometimes caregiving is not easy work. Often it's not easy work. often there are challenges along the way that come at you. So, Nikaya, what's motivated you to stay in the profession?
What's motivated me? Pretty much the same thing. As far as seeing the smile on their face and seeing that I'm making a difference in their lives each day. And just it's basically that, like, just to see the look and the appreciation on their face every day. That's what keeps me there. And I have a special connection with my client that I could never leave her. I could never leave her. I think that's what keeps me in the profession, just to see the appreciation that I get from her, and how she tells me when I leave every night how much she appreciates me.
Isn't that amazing? And you've replicated that with many
Yes.
clients. That's not just this one client, but like Katie, and I'm sure you, Martine, that's just the action that you get from people. How about you? How about yourself, Martine? What's motivated you to stay in the profession?
What motivated me was like all the challenge, learning about dementia, learning the stages of the dementia, and the embrace training that I have had with Katie helps so much. Like I can see a difference right now with my client from when we did the training back in July to know how the disease progress. So all the challenge and being able to understand the do and don't, challenge of every day, and most importantly, yes, put a smile on his face. Most of the time he doesn't remember who I am, but that's fine, and always talk softly to him. Then he remember a little, but his mind's not here.
Yeah.
So all the challenge of everyday life, and then I'm seeking, it can be my family member, so always treat them with dignity, respect. That's so important to me too.
That's lovely, Martine. I really appreciate that. And you'd mentioned the Embrace program.
Yes,
and
I
so just to mention for those of you that are watching that may not know about it, we Open Arms specializes in dementia care. And I'm incredibly proud of a program that's led by Scott Tolan, who is our memory care program director, where we really work to give higher level training for our caregivers, to really give them the tools to take great care of our clients with dementia, because it's often not easy, and it's different every day. And so thank you for mentioning that. I'm really proud of this program and the impact that we're making in people's lives. So thank you for mentioning that, Martine. How has caregiving helped you grow as a person?
be patient.
Patience.
Be more patient, because honestly, in my case, sometimes I will just blow, but no more, even with my own children. So they appreciate that, I'm sure, but being more patient.
That's such an important quality. And I will tell you, my nature is I'm not a very patient person, but having that quality, Nikaya, you look surprised, but
I've gained a
but
lot of patience.
See that, Nikaya? What?
I've gained a lot of patience.
You've gained a lot of patience. So tell us about that.
Because I actually have more patience with elderly than I do my own children. I don't know what it is. The connection. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. But with the connection with them, like I've gained so much patience. My mom used to tell me all the time, you have no patience. Now I have more patience than her. So being with them has really made me really, really appreciate life more also.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk a little bit more about that, Nakaya. How does it help you appreciate life more? I believe I know what you mean, but everyone that's listening, how has being a caregiver helped you appreciate life more?
The things that they've been through and able to overcome has made me understand and see that I can overcome a lot of my obstacles in my life. So it's really, really changed my insight on life with dealing with my elderly, community.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. Who else wants to touch on that?
To be more.
Say it again, Martine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my microphone was mute.
Oh,
To be more appreciative of every little thing in everyday life. What you take for granted might be difficult for someone else, and then you appreciate more what you're doing, even just going shopping. Right now with COVID, we take that for granted, but they can go anywhere. So
Yes.
it's a everyday challenge and everyday appreciation of the life we have.
Yes. Really nicely said. Did you want to add to that, Katie?
I think, outside of everyday responsibility of just being responsible for another human being, and to help improve their situations in their lives, it really forces you to look inside yourself and forces you to tap into your empathy and your compassion and walk an inch in someone else's shoes. And it forces you to grow up and mature, because that's the only way that you can truly to help that other person and care for them.
Yeah. Well said. Oh, thank you, ladies. That's and I will tell you that I share that there's been so many gifts that Open Arms has given me personally. And you've all said it in different ways, but I mean, the appreciation for being healthy and every day being able to do the things that we do and live life, because we see that what happens when someone starts to age and the challenges of aging, and it just helps you appreciate the moments, the days. It certainly has for me. So can you each think about what have been some of your most meaningful moments with clients? Who wants to go first?
I can.
Okay, Katie.
With my couple of very long-term clients I'd worked with, getting to know their families and being able to really have that family involvement for our clients, big family dinners and holidays, and making them very special. And also learning from my client and their families, their traditions, albeit religious or their own family's special things that they do, to be able to continue those traditions on and help them do so. That's always meaningful. But outside of those big moments, those little moments are sometimes even more precious. Smile, helping somebody do their nails and helping them feel pretty, or those little things, moments of gratification are just priceless.
That's great. Thank you, Katie. What about you, Nakaya? What are your
my meaningful moments? Most of my meaningful moments are just when I can see the appreciation, interacting with their families is really important to me. I really appreciate when you have a family that is very involved with their mother or father, I should say. Um, it just to see that client's face when their family is actually involved, I love it. And those are the most meaningful moments of my caregiving days, is to see when the family is involved
That's great.
overall of everything.
Yeah, it's a privilege, isn't it? To be able to see
Yes,
the,
it is.
a lot of
Because
people don't get to see those intimate
I see
times
a
with
lot.
family. That's
No,
great.
and there's a lot who don't have that family, so they can't, they don't have those same moments that these other people have, and I
Yeah,
love to see that.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. How about you, Martine? What are some of your more meaningful moments with clients or their families?
My more meaningful moment was with one of my longtime clients that I stay with until unfortunately she passed away. I was able to stay connected with her son until the last moment. She had dementia, and when it was almost time for her to go, I told her I love her, and she squeezed my hand in response when before she can't respond anymore. So until now, it's when I can't even express the feeling of that moment. It
Yeah.
was really touching.
Oh my gosh, that's extraordinary.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it
it was.
almost put me to tears again,
Oh,
just thinking about
yeah,
her.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things that I will share and is that there have been times over the years, and it doesn't happen that often as much anymore, but when I was personally involved in some of the families more, where I would be invited to the funeral, and someone would get up in the eulogy and they would mention one of our care professionals in the eulogy in terms of how much that person meant to their family. It's happened many, many times, and each time it's just an extraordinary feeling. It's really hard to really express what that means. But, it's clearly that connection was so important to the family. That just means the world to me. So let's go, and let me ask another question. Have you experienced anything with a client that first seemed really challenging, but it turned out to be a real blessing? So I want you to think about that, because we all know caregiving can have really challenging moments for lots of different reasons. So,
I think I have a pretty good example. One of her clients, she was in her middle stage of dementia. And in order to exert control of herself and her life and things like that, she was getting into the habit of using her phone as an outlet, I believe. She would call her daughter maybe 26, 27 times a day, leaving messages in distress. Sometimes she would call the police. Sometimes she would, and again, utilizing the phone as an outlet. So I was really trying to think of how we can turn that into a positive outlet. Because I didn't want to take the phone away from her. That's the last thing we want to do. So I started getting in the habit of every single day at her good time, I would made a list of family members, friends that I had previously spoken to, and offered, why don't you, reach out to so-and-so, or why don't you touch base with so-and-so? And we had started getting into that habit. And before I knew it, she just didn't have the inclination to use that phone in a negative way as much, if not anymore. And in turn, I was able to get to know better her family and friends as well. So that was really nice to see.
What a great, that's a great story. A great example of very creative and just thinking about, solutions. So that's great, Katie. Thank you. What about you, Martine? What about
One
some,
of my
challenge?
challenge
Yes.
was like giving my client medication. He will fight for it sometimes, seeking we try to poison him, but that was a dementia talking. So I find another way to give it to him, like mixing it with applesauce,
Mm-hmm.
and he will take it easy. So for me, my blessing was learning other tool to fit their needs. Try to find something by challenging him, challenging myself. So it was a blessing to learn little tool, because yes, with dementia, unfortunately, you never know how your client will react to little stuff like taking medication, getting dressed. Um, every little aspect of life can be a challenge for them. So yeah, it became a blessing to learn all these little tools.
That's great, Martine. Thank you. What about you, Nikaya?
I think one of maybe my challenges was I had a client who was very combative. She would spit, she would pinch, she would punch uh, while we were getting her dressed. Um, and, while we were trying to brush her teeth, everything else. So, what we would do was we would start, like, while we were doing it, we would sing to her. She had favorite songs that she loved to sing. So we would sing to her, and that would calm her down from all of the combative ways she had. Because at first, trust me, it was really hard at first. I
Yeah.
kept trying to think of ways like how can we reverse this? Um, and when we thought of doing that, our days were so much better after that. And I think that was one of my most challenging times. Was that?
Oh, I bet.
Yes. Yes.
Just all you are
All
problem
because
solvers, and you have to think on your feet, and
Mhm.
sometimes got to get creative, and you've all done that. Um, that's really terrific. We're getting close to the end, but I want to make sure I ask this question. Um, really, two questions I'm hoping to get in. Do you feel your role has changed since COVID-19? And have you helped your clients cope with potentially not seeing family members as much? Has that been part of what you've been experiencing?
Um, it hasn't really changed for me. I mean,
It
it's
hasn't
still the
changed for you?
same. Not much, um, but more of reassuring her, you know, uh, hopefully this will be over soon. You'll be able to, see your family really soon. We talk to them on the phone. So that's maybe talking on the phone more. Maybe that's the only thing that's really changed.
You've helped them talk with their loved ones on the phone. Okay, makes
Yes.
sense. Okay, thank you for that. How about you, Martine?
It's been challenging since COVID. I can see on some other clients and the one I have all the time, depression setting in. I have another client at the breaker, and you can see it challenging to make
I think Martine may have frozen.
understand.
Oh, there she is.
It's a everyday thing to. So yes, COVID had a big impact. internet, and we try to make it easier for them.
Thanks, Martine. We lost your picture. That's one of the joys of Zoom meetings and remote meetings, but we could hear you, so thank you for that. Are you still with us, Martine? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, ladies, I've enjoyed this so much. I can't tell you, express the gratitude I have, and I know I'm not alone at Open Arms. I know you know the team at Open Arms. They're there for you. They're behind you. We're all so proud of the work that you do. Before we sign off, I'm going to do a shameless plug here for a new program that we're involved in. And that is for those of you who are watching and seeing these care professionals and are saying to myself, I'd love to get into this field, but I don't have any experience. We have started a exciting new program, and we partnered with an organization called My CNA Jobs, and they're offering a free online course, caregiver certification course, to help prepare candidates for a profession of caregiving like these ladies. The course takes about 3 to 4 hours to complete and can be done on a mobile phone or a computer. Once you complete the course and receive your certification, our recruiting team will be notified and will reach out to you to discuss next steps. So there's a link that I believe Sarah was going to put up for that, so you can see it. I'm not sure, Sarah. You know what? There's some kind of an issue with the link. Sarah's coaching Martine right now. Sarah, if you could put up the link to the Coach Up program. Well, Sarah's going to get working on that, and if anyone is interested in that Coach Up program, please reach out to us. You can reach out to me, Julie at openarmssolutions.com, and I will get it to the right person. Thank you so much. Katie, thank you. Nakaya just jumped off. Thank you, Nakaya. Martine, thank you. And have a great weekend, everybody.